the security situation, and of course you did remember, in case you've forgotten, some arrests, and they say they were exposed, some spies with Iranian links. They will be charged to court, and the court will determine all of that. But that and more we'll be focusing on in this segment. Max Gbanite joins us from our Abuja studios. Morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. And having heard that information, were you in any way, first and foremost, surprised that we have spies from Iran?
Well, I wasn't really surprised about the Iranian connection. But let me just say, first of all, that I commend the men and women of the Department of State Services, also known as SSS, for the swiftness of this investigation and arrest. These are the unsung heroes that nobody knows about, doing what they are supposed to do patriotically for the nation. And it emphasizes on the need for jointness, and I'm quite sure they didn't do this alone without the collaboration of the NIA, the DIA, the DMI. But having said that, let us go back to 2010, thereabout July, when 13 containers containing high explosives military issue were smuggled into this country, but bravely intercepted by the same body, JTF. And Iranian had their fingerprints on that. And the case is still in court, therefore I cannot expatiate on that. But having said that, there are two axes that from intelligence report that have always wanted to have a hand in Nigeria. One being the Libyan axis under the late Muammar Gaddafi, who were able to establish various cells in this country. Thank God Gaddafi is not alive anymore. We don't know what is happening to those cells, but I'm quite sure the men and women of the Department of State Security are working assiduously to unravel that axis. Then the Iranian axis, whereas one cannot really say that it is state-sponsored, but the fingerprint is also suggesting otherwise. Why would they want General Babangida, former president, killed? Why would they want the former Sultan of Sokoto killed? Why would they want American, British, French, and Israeli facilities destroyed? So if the Iranian government want to claim that they don't have a hand in this, then please, we are going to have a black pope indeed.
Well, anyway, Max, there's a whole lot coming in from the security operatives, as you rightly said, the DMI, the SSS, and a whole lot of them. Now we're getting to see prosecution. The case is already in court. But if you look at some of these, let's also look at some other security matters here. And one of such has to do with the aftermath of the bomb blast in Jaji. By now, you must have seen a whole lot of people commenting on this particular matter, and the way and manner in which they're taking it. What does that portend for us as a nation?
Suleiman, I am very happy you raised this issue. The former commandant of Jaji, I remember being invited to Jaji as a discussant for a program there couple of weeks before that explosion. And this was a junior course for captains. And the issue of porosity of the vicinage was also in question. And one believes that when a general, the rank of a major general in Nigerian army, takes possession of a cantonment or a garrison, the first line of operation is to take control of your facility, investigate the weaknesses of your facility, because we are in a state of alert, red alert I might say in the military parlance. In the case of Major General Issa, I feel very saddened that the allegations coming from Jaji remains founded, because as a Major General, what happened in Jaji shouldn't have happened if due diligence in securing the facility was apt by the general himself. But having said that, what I find rather very disturbing is the manner with which the print media have taken this to a different level by casting aspersion on our Nigerian military, which is still the bastion of unity for this nation. In the 60s, politicians used the media to attack the military. What happened was the disintegration of same, and that led to the Civil War. Today, because in Hejirika, permit me to at least salivate this one, I am still an Igbo man. I feel very eclectic that for 44 years, an Igbo man became the chief of army staff. But that is where it ends for me. But the good thing that is coming out of this is that, according to people who have retired, majority of them from the north, they said that after T.Y. Danjuma, after Salihu Ibrahim, that Ihejirika will go down in history as one of the most competent chief of army staffs. Why did they say this? Simple. The chief of army staff takes cognizance of the welfare of his soldier. He takes cognizance of the barracks and makes sure that it's up to date. He takes cognizance of morale within the military. And in his 3-year stint, what he has done that is quite amazing that others have not been able to do is the promotion of 72 generals. That is, in 2010, 25, in 2011, 24, and in 2012, 22. What that does is simple. A major, a lieutenant colonel, a full colonel have aspirations to be a major general or be a brigadier general. But he doesn't promote by himself. There is what we call the Army Council, which works within the internal mechanism embedded within the military. The Army Council is chaired by the Defense Minister. There is Army Promotion Board that makes recommendation, and the Army Council rectifies. Therefore, it is quite stultifyingly mundane for a section of the press to come out and begin to cast aspersion to the men and women in uniform. I find that quite undiluted and unacceptable.
Well, in a case like this, so what should be the way forward? Because now you have actually gone into details, taking us back in history. But again, the Army Command has been taken to the courts. So is that the likely place for us to settle this once and for all?
Well, I do not begrudge a general that takes the army that made him a major general to court. There was a time in the past when some army officers that came back from peace support operation felt cheated and demonstrated against the military. They were sacked. They went to court to seek redress. But they were very junior ranking officers. In the case of a major general, whose name was even touted to be a chief of army staff, he didn't make it. What I thought was noble is when you become a major general or a brigadier general and you are faithfully saying that it was the will of God. One would also believe that when one is retired, having attained such a position, let it also be a will of God, except if we are pseudo-faithfuls. Therefore, we ascribe our failure to man and successes to God. In this particular case, the general has a consummate right to go to court to seek redress. But the bandwagon effect in this particular matter is, what about the 10 generals that were retired by the former chief of army staff, of whom 10 of them, out of the 10, 9 came from southeast, southwest, south-south, and 1 from the north? It opens a Pandora box for them to go back to court. But there is a mechanism within the military where if you feel that you were retired wrongfully, you write a letter to that particular board to review your case. And that board is made up of your peers, cut across from every ethnic group that make up the military.